Can anyone respond?
और 2 हो जाएगा और तीसरा उसको ये कॉल सेंटर भी
Yes, sir.
Are we audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Just give us 2 minutes. We'll start the VC.
ஆட்டுக்குள்ள இருக்கிற இந்த கோயில தனி ஒரு ஆளானா வேர்ல்ட் ஃபேமஸ் ஆகணும். திருப்பதி மாதிரி. ஆமா திருப்பதி மாதிரி. கோடுவட் திருப்பதி. நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க இதுல? நான் கூடவே இருப்பேனே. சப்போஸ் இந்த ஆஃபர் எனக்கு பிடிக்கல, நான் வேணாம்னு சொல்லிட்டு அப்படியே போயிட்டேனா? இல்ல பயமா இருக்கு. இங்க பாருங்க. ஆடி ஆடி அதான் என்ன மாதிரி தலை வெடிச்சிருமா? நான் பண்றேன். ஐ அக்செப்ட் தி ஆஃபர். வேற வழி. ஆனா எனக்கு ஒரு ஆசை. நீங்க நிறைவேற்றுவீங்களா? நம்ம இங்க இருந்து பறந்து போலாமா? அப்படியே பறக்க வச்சு காண கூட்டு போவோம் இந்த பூதெல்லாம். நீங்க என்ன வீடு வரைக்கும் பறந்து கூட்டு போறீங்களா? இப்படி வேணாம். ஏன்னா இங்க மேல இருக்கு, அப்படி கீழே விழுந்துரும்ல. இப்படி வச்சீங்கன்னா பேலன்ஸ் பண்ணி குழியில் நிற்பேன். நம்ம பறந்து வீட்டுக்கு போலாமா? இப்ப எதுக்கு பஸ்ல கூட்டு வந்தீங்க? பறக்க வச்சு கூட்டு போறதுக்கு இந்த கோட்டுக்காக உங்களை படிச்சு விடுறேன். நாட்டுல மக்கள் ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்காங்க. சாமி எங்க போறீங்க? கை குடிங்க. சாமி தான் டிக்கெட் கொடுப்பாங்க. நீங்க சாமிக்கு டிக்கெட் கொடுக்குறீங்க. 2 பறக்க. எனக்கு ஒண்ணு சாமி கொண்டு. என்ன டிக்கெட் யாருக்கு? அதான் சாமிக்குடா. ஓ அப்படி. 2 டிக்கெட் சாமி. யாரு பிளான்? நேபாளி வாட்ச்மேன் வானா நீங்க பவர் யூஸ் பண்ணி வாட்ச்மேன் வர வச்சிட்டீங்க. ஆனா மாசம் மாசம் நாங்க எப்படி சம்பளம் கொடுக்கிறது? வானா
Good afternoon.
ये ऑन करना है? ये ऑन करना है क्या?
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Manohar Agnani, Additional Secretary in Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. I am joined with my senior colleague Vandana Gurnani, who is Additional Secretary and Mission Director, and Joint Secretary Love Agarwal. So, Happy New Year to all of you, and we will have 2 sets of presentations where I will begin with the basic information related to operational guidelines and how we need to take this COVID vaccination forward. Then we will have a specific presentation on COVID software where my colleague Love Agarwal will take you through the entire process in a participatory method. So with your permission, I am starting with this presentation. Hope all of you are muted, and at the end of these 2 presentations, if you have any questions or concerns or suggestions, we would like to take those also along with this training. So I welcome you all on this important training session. I begin with my presentation. Okay, so can somebody confirm the presentation is visible, slide is visible? No response, that means you all are muted or you are not
Sir,
able
we
to.
can see your. Yes, sir, we can see
Thank
your
you.
slide.
मैं ट्राई करता हूँ.
Thank you. So this is just a test slide. I go to the actual presentation. Next slide, please. So friends, we have issued two sets of guidelines with the states and UTs. You must be aware of this. One on the left side is operational guidelines, which deals about the entire aspect related to COVID-19 vaccines. And a subset of those guidelines is on the communication strategy, which we have issued day before. You may not be aware of this. Is available on our ministry website. Communication is very, very important. So need to go through that drill also. Those who are in the district will also understand what they have to do on communication. On operational guidelines, of course, you are aware of the entire aspect, but in the next slide, I'm going to show you what new guidelines, the operational guidelines revision have new additions. Next. So if you see, these are the new addition in the operational guidelines. On the frontline workers, you know the inclusion of the revenue officers who are engaged in COVID-19 containment, surveillance and associated activities have been detailed out in Chapter 7, Section 7.1. On defense forces, a decision has been taken that vaccination of defense forces will be done by Armed Forces Medical Services using their infrastructure. Because of the data confidentiality, they will just give us a number, but the districts to provide the requisite vaccines and syringes to defense establishment, that will be the function of the district immunization officer, which has been detailed in Chapter 333.1, District Task Force Activities in Implementation Phase. And we are also saying that there should be multidisciplinary teams by district and block task forces to verify the plant station sites for their adequacy. There is a regular drill and the chapter which is shown on the column next. Then physical inspection of session sites and the concerned cold chain points is a day prior to the ensure all arrangement, the way we do in the elections. You must be doing right now also the inspection of the cold chain point. Then of course the dry run by the state have been detailed out in Chapter 11, which is of actually 2 days, but the dry run which we are going to do tomorrow is for the 1 day, is of the 1 day. We have condensed the entire thing into the 1 day, which my colleague Love will detail out after some time. Then these guidelines also have SOPs on prevention of suffrages of COVID-19 vaccine. Would like to give a special focus on this. COVID vaccine to begin initially is going to be resource which need to be protected. So we'll request all DIOs and to their district magistrates to look into this Chapter 7, Section 7.4. Then of course there is a checklist addition on physical inspection of cold chain points, which is detailed out here in Chapter Annexure 5, 6, 7. So that is a good checklist. You can add any points on this checklist as per your specific situation. Going to the next slide. Now, there are state steering committee, state task forces, district task forces, block task forces. You know all that. We have requested that all the NGOs and CSOs and the representation of central ministries institutions should be adequately given into this because we want to make this entire process a Jan Andolan. Then, state task force and district task force activities during implementation should ensure that healthcare workers and the frontline workers of the central ministries and the institutions are also covered, while session allocation and with vaccination, you know this part very well. On community engagement and mobilization of vaccination sessions, we have given addition of engagement with the panchayats, municipal corporations, NGOs, self-help groups, youth networks for mobilization of the beneficiaries. You can use their services. That's very important. On grievance redressal, of course, we will have a detailed presentation on this technical helpline, which is 1075 and 104 of the state specific helplines for COVID-related issues. This has started functioning. You will know more about this during this presentation. Then, of course, there is a chapter addition of readiness assessment by state, district, block, urban checklist, which is at Annexure 7. So these are the new updates on the guidelines which we have done on 28th of December. These guidelines are also available on our website. Next. Then friends, for the conducting session, I'm giving you some random slides, random thoughts, which we thought would be specific for your understanding, giving a focus on this again. Sitting arrangement should be done to ensure physical distancing. COVID appropriate behavior is very, very important during this vaccination campaign. Only one person to enter during vaccination room at a time. And there should be facilities for hand washing, sanitization at the entrance. And IC material, which is a new thing we have developed. You may not be aware of that. We have done it yesterday only. I will show you samples of that, which we are going to upload on the website. The way we do the elections, so you know some set of posters are given by the Election Commission to be posted on the polling booths. Similarly, we have developed IC material on COVID appropriate behavior and other things, which is in the next slide. Next slide, please. So if you see these two posters here, one on the left is showing the entire COVID appropriate behavior during and even after vaccination, 5 sets of COVID appropriate behavior. You are well aware of this. Then for complete protection, follow the 5 after the vaccination. That's on the second poster. On the right side, we would request you to kindly display in the vaccination sites. In the next slide, I am showing you the next, please. What ID proofs would be required for the beneficiaries to avail this vaccination, which is shown on the left, including Aadhaar, voter ID, driving license, PAN card, and so on. You know this because you have been doing elections, assisting in the election process. And then this, if you see the right side, this is something which details out the entire process from beginning to the end with a helpline number 1075. So if you read this, this will be a good rehearsal and should be displayed on the polling booths or the vaccination sites. So these are the 4 sets of the IC material which we have developed for the vaccination site. We'll request to kindly get them printed and display on the vaccination site. And those who are doing dry run tomorrow, if that can be done tomorrow as well, it will be a good thing. Next. Again, on the layout plan for the vaccination site, we have been saying that there should be 3 separate rooms or areas, which could be waiting room, vaccination room, and observation room, which is very important because this COVID vaccination is different than other vaccination because to begin with, we will start with the healthcare workers and the frontline workers, and we want this observation room to be religiously maintained, seen, because request is that all the who are getting vaccinated should be there for 30 minutes to see any adverse event following immunization. And of course, as I said, adequate physical distancing between the chairs, sitting in the waiting rooms, and it should also cater to those who are of the special needs along with the arrangement for the drinking water and so on. Because after this, we will have 50 plus population to be covered under this. So you understand what is the important requirements for those who are senior citizens. Next. Need to wait for 30 minutes post-vaccination, physical distancing norm, and IC material on COVID appropriate behavior can be displayed here also because this is not just one time of COVID vaccination. COVID appropriate behavior is going to be with us forever. We need to understand this very well. And on AEFI, if it happens in within 30 minutes to be managed or to be referred to AEFI Management Center, you all are DIOs, you are aware of this. And dummy recording of such events on COVID software is to be done, linkage with the SafeRec, which will be detailed out during next presentation. I go to the next slide. You know, 5-member team, vaccinator 1 who is trained for injectables, could be doctor, staff nurses, pharmacists, A&M, LHPs, and anybody who legally can give injection. Vaccination officer job is to check registration. One job is to check registration status of the beneficiary, which could be this team. Vaccination officer 2 will authenticate verified document, which Love will give you in details now. And vaccination officer 3 and 4 are for crowd management, 30-minute wait, ensuring, and also AFI maintenance. So actual vaccinator team at session should be trained based on the module shared with all the states. My request is, this is very critical and very important. All my DIO friends are requested to kindly ensure that entire team is trained before they go to the actual vaccination. Next. Then you have to organize for all logistical sessions. This is maybe a difficult slide for you to understand, but I can read out for you. On the top is the immunization waste, then the segregation guidelines, and the treatment guidelines, the disposable guidelines. Everything has to be arranged as per the picture shown here and as has been detailed out in the operational guideline. So please ensure all the logistics at the session site well before in advance. And next slide will show you something on the formats to be used for session and the logistic planning, and which have been detailed out in the operational guidelines. I just leave it here. Going to the next slide, where supervisor's format has been shown, so you can see this as a checklist also for doing the entire preparation during and before the vaccination. Next. On adverse event following immunization, having a medical background, I would say this is something which is very critical for us, because the COVID have to follow it very seriously with the protocol, with the quality. Everything has to be in place. That is why we have requested that all vaccination sessions should be equipped with anaphylaxis kit to manage serious and severe AFIs at the session site. And my humble request is that the medical officer in charge of that block, or whatever the state duty decides, should verify that all the anaphylaxis kit is complete and doesn't have anything of the expiry duration, and it is complete in all respects. So you are doing a session of 100, you must have sufficient supplies in place in the kit, which is shown on the picture. And vaccinators should be oriented to identify and manage this anaphylaxis, which is very critical. And this session should be linked with the AFI Management Center, which is a sort of referral from this side. This is very important, and I would give enough emphasis to this. If you ask me to give one slide for discussion, this is the slide which I want to request you. Next. Here, the key consideration for COVID management, you know that is shown on the left box. Medical officer has to verify that anaphylaxis kit for the contents and expiry date, which I said earlier. Also, and the reporting of AFI is very important, which is immediate reporting of all serious and severe AFIs should be done to the supervisor and the medical officer. It has to be entered on COVID, irrespective of the nature of AFI, could be minor, severe, or serious. Any adverse event has to be reported on COVID under the respective beneficiary name, and you also do AFI registers maintained, which also has the provision for recording all types of AFIs in AFI register. So you have to do all three. Next. Then this is a sort of repetition for the sessions. The AFI Management Center kits, outreach anaphylaxis kit, we have said, adrenaline, syringes, needles, and so on. And in addition to that, I want to say that vaccination team should know the contact numbers and location of AFI Manager Center. This is something new. And the management center should be at least one per block, with a development block, and could be any health facility with doctors and paramedical staff. My request will be kindly monitor this seriously. Next. So I stop here. This is the basic on the operational guidelines, and my colleagues here, they will be responding to your question. My colleague Love Agarwal will take you through COVID. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And let me welcome again our colleagues from state as well as the districts. So, dear colleagues, let me just highlight what is this discussion primarily today on. So the major focus on the issue for discussion primarily, we are all aware, we are going to use an IT application called CoWIN to monitor with respect to the transparent manner in which each and every beneficiary is going to get the vaccination. Now, as part of that process, few demo runs have been done. Earlier also trainings were done, but since this is an evolving application, we thought that it will be useful before we come closer to the place when actual implementation happens on field. We run you through with respect to new functionalities which have been added, and further functionalities keep getting added, but they're all self-explanatory. So we would just plan this session in 3 ways. We will be basically talking about session allocation and what are the steps required for session allocation. Second, we will also be giving you demonstration with respect to how does a vaccinator does data entry and how does he also report adverse reaction if there is any following immunization. Third part is something which we are not launching today, but we would like to utilize this opportunity at because all the DIOs are also present along with state officers, that in future, in case if we allow individuals, people to self-register themselves for vaccination, which may be in near horizon sometime, once the vaccine availability becomes bigger, then how they will do the self-registration, track their things. So just to ensure that there is no glitches, what we are going to do is we will first run you through a presentation highlighting the snapshots or the screenshots of various tasks which needs to be done. Subsequent to that, same thing would also like to run you through a demonstration by live demonstration, depending on if there are no glitches and we are able to run it through because everyone is, whole country is primarily gathered. So what is this COVID delivery management system? So what happens is you are aware that there is an even application which does the real-time monitoring of temperature loggers as well as logistics up to the cold chain point. Now from cold chain point, we have come up with this new application which allows for sub-center session site creation, beneficiary registration, allocation of centers, and finally monitoring the beneficiary vaccination through that process. There are processes related with beneficiary getting an acknowledgement. There are processes, first time in the country, there is an application wherein under section 4, a unique health ID for the person can be created, which can be populated across different health ecosystems and including HMIS, including telemedicine, etc. At the end of the vaccination, they will also get a QR code based certificate, and they can also print that certificate from time to time as and when they want it for travel purposes. Then there is also an AFI reporting mechanism which is also supported by different dashboards. Can we go to the next slide, please? So now what we are trying to do is, let me just highlight that the Aadhaar authentication to ensure that proper malpractices can be avoided. There is also unique health ID creation as I submitted earlier. There is adverse event following immunization which can be monitored through this. There are SMSs which goes to beneficiaries in 12 different languages. Similarly, SMSs will come to you as DIOs. SMSs will come to the vaccinator as and when the session gets allocated from reporting perspective. And as I just mentioned, there will be a QR code based certificate for vaccination completion. This is one application which, besides unique health ID and Aadhaar, is also integrating DigiLocker, wherein you can put in your data and you can retrieve data also. So what you can do is that your QR code based certificate can actually be inputted into this and you can withdraw it from there at any point of time. We're all aware that 1075 is now repurposed to focus more on COVID vaccination. So there will be a 24/7 helpline where not only what will happen at your level, in the sense that the state level call center and national level call center, there are 20 people also kept to support field functionaries in terms of providing technical doubt solving, etc. So this also is already provided for and it is already operational. We have also included chatbot with pattern recognition to help navigate the portal across different locations. So this you will see when you are using it. We've also ensured that there is a natural language processing tool built into the vaccinator module. So a vaccinator effectively can do data entry in a hands-free model that has been already integrated into this. Then there are multiple dry runs where, some way or the other, all of you have actually been involved, which has facilitated in terms of getting field level feedback. And similarly, now we are using training platform to sort of discuss with you and sort of highlight to you what are the new features which are coming up. Next slide, please. Now, what are the challenges and how it will actually appear to all of us, particularly the health professional? So we have to understand that we will get healthcare workers data from 21 central ministries beside the state level healthcare workers. We are also going to get frontline care workers, primarily from Ministry of Home, which may include BSF, CISF, State Police Authority, Disaster Management, and Ministry of Urban, which is primarily the municipal administration staff. Similarly, some data may come from, let us say, from the defense services, etc., and including the revenue employees. Then all this data, wherever, whosoever does the data entry, what we need to understand and appreciate is, except for the revenue staff and the healthcare staff, other data entry will be done by the respective ministries and respective officials, which we don't care. They will do the data entry, but that will be visible to you, because this is the beneficiary list which is getting populated by different ministries, and the vaccinators are primarily provided to you. So this is where we enter as DIOs and state officials, and then these vaccinators and session sites and facilities which are there, which you have identified already, these are the places where interplay of this will lead to session allocation. So already this data which I am showing, which has been uploaded, is already been much bigger data has been added. So it is around 80 lakh workers, healthcare workers, which have been added, 49,000 public health facilities, 1,48,000 private health facilities, 2 lakh vaccinators, 6 lakh session sites, and more than 2 lakh users are already using this application. So what I would request and urge for you to appreciate is that this is a huge data management issue coming from different sources, and they have to be collated in terms of actually making a meaningful action at field. Now let us come to the session allocation process. What we will do now is we will show you screenshots. After that, we'll stop this presentation, try to show you the live demo of the same thing. Then we will go to the vaccinator module to show you screenshots, show you the live demo of that. Then again, we'll go to the self-registration module, show you the screenshots and give the live demo. So if you were to see the process part of it, so what happens is, first we will basically allocate vaccine from the national level to the state level. Once these vaccines have been allocated to state, indicating that this particular vaccine is going to go to X state, now that X state will allot that same vaccine to district. Similarly, once the district gets allotted a particular vaccine, and it can be multiple vaccines, after that, Evin solution maintain the overall logistics. From there, what will happen is you will assign at the DIO level the batches of that vaccine from the data available in Evin, and you will populate that data with respect to cold chain points. So you will effectively do allotting of X amount of vaccine of a particular manufacturer to a particular cold chain point. Parallelly, you also have uploaded the data, and the data which has come from other ministries like urban, housing, revenue, etc. So that data is the list of beneficiaries available to you. You will pick up those beneficiaries based on certain checkboxes, and after that, whatever vaccine sites which you have created, this is the point I would like to specifically highlight. If you see point number 6, it mentions that selection of vaccine sites should be also populating postal code and locality of beneficiary. So what we are doing is the matching and batching takes place primarily by saying that this particular vaccine site will take care of these one or two postal codes. Within those postal codes, there are multiple localities. It will say within this postal code, I will take care of this particular locality. This is primarily done to ensure that beneficiaries from one locality need not travel to a larger area. Now, there are certain issues which have been reflected where sometimes people have got kindly bear with us, because the reason is that such a situation exists. Kindly write it to us to a specific email which you had already indicated. We will do the data mapping in the backend so that this problem can be solved. So what has happened is we have got the vaccination sites. We have also got the list of beneficiary. Now we will pick up based on the date when we want to do it, based on the beneficiary load we want to cover, based on the priority population group we want to cover. Based on that, we'll create the session. So if we go to the next slide, I'll just primarily be running through the same process in micro detail so that we can all come on common page. So it may so happen that we will basically be saying COVAX or AstraZeneca or XYZ multiple type of vaccines will get allotted to a particular state, or 2 vaccines can be allotted to one state, or 3 vaccines can also be allotted to one state. This is the task which will be done by the. Similarly, state in turn may allocate a single vaccine or a double vaccine or multiple vaccine to a particular district. Now, the point to appreciate here is if two vaccines get allocated to a district, then when the session planning take place, it is only single vaccine which will be allowed in one session, so that there cannot be any confusion with respect to multiple vaccines being used in the same session. So this is what software will coordinate, and accordingly the drop downs will be displayed. Next slide. So how does the session planning take place? And this is where our colleagues who are from district, kindly I would request you to understand it slightly more in greater detail. What are the tasks to be done? First, we'll create a cold chain point. Subsequent to that, we will create vaccinators for that cold chain point. We will create the vaccination sites with correct mapping. Let me again kindly repeat, with correct mapping of postal code and the localities which this vaccination site will serve. Then after that, we will pick up the batch which has been allotted at the district level. We will take it into account into the district level. We'll allocate that batch of vaccine which we have got from even software to respective cold chain points. We will pick up the list of beneficiaries where already postal code and locality is matching with the postal code of identified vaccination site. One point to highlight here, however, is that when it comes to healthcare worker, already the guidelines clearly indicate that healthcare workers' vaccination sites will be primarily the health facilities itself. So in that case, because already when you uploaded the data, you have uploaded only postal code and you have not uploaded the localities below the postal code. So to again highlight, as far as the healthcare workers are concerned, vaccine facilities, we are going to the session sites, and accordingly you will kindly do the session allocation. Next slide. So now I would ask my colleague Abhimanyu to keep on adding from time to time. I'm just showing the screenshot. So first what will happen is we'll create a vaccination site and map it to postal code and locality. DIO basically log in and he will go to the manage vaccination site where he will see the vaccination sites and edit as per the existing vaccination sites. So if you see, this is the screenshot. In this, they will see details of the vaccination sites available. They can go to the add site, which is shown again in color, and where a new site can be added. Next slide. To add a new slide, what you kindly see here is, as I again requested, you have to map it with particular postal code. So whatever you see in the drop down in the first screenshot and the second screenshot is that you can pick up multiple or single pin code. Once you pick up a multiple or single pin code, all the localities within those pin codes will be available to the next screenshot as you see. From there, you can pick up multiple locations or localities. So with this, what will happen is, now you have basically identified that this vaccination site will cater to these localities. Kindly note that except for the healthcare worker, session cannot be planned for beneficiaries if the respective pin codes and the locality is not added in the vaccination site. Next slide. Now what will happen is, the second task is, once we have created the vaccination sites, we go into a column called manage receipts. Here they will see the vaccine allocated by the state to you, along with the batch details and doses which are remaining in that particular batch. So if you kindly see the next screenshot, you will realize that, say for example, vaccine name, let us say AstraZeneca, batch number is this. Existing even software will tell us how many doses are remaining, and these doses are the doses which are now available to us for allocation. Next slide. Once we do, and how do we actually get these batches uploaded into our software, is that there is a concept called receipt of batches at the district level, where you will select the particular vaccine which has been allotted at the national level, enter its batch details, manufacturing date, quantity receipt, date of receipt, and based on it, once you save it, this is the particular number which is available to you for in turn from district level allocation to the cold chain points. Next slide. Now in the cold chain point, manage vaccine allocation module, once you click on that, next slide. Can you go to the next slide? So what will happen is, you will basically do the vaccine allocation to cold chain point once you have been allotted a particular set of vaccine. Next slide. And in this, you will basically say that these are the doses available to me, these are the doses remaining, and based on this, the software will know that these are the doses, and beneficiaries matching and batching can take place. Next slide. After that, we go to the manage beneficiary module, where we can basically see all the beneficiaries which have either been uploaded at your end or uploaded by any of the ministry. Here, district administrators see all the list and pick up some of the beneficiaries. You can pick up, if you want to pick up based on the type of beneficiary, whether you want to pick up healthcare workers, whether you want to pick up, people who have come from defense, whether you want to pick up people from police or revenue administration. So that facility exists and you can pick up selected set of beneficiaries for session allocation. Next slide. And after that session allocation, we go to navigate the planning session screen itself. Next slide. So there what we will do, once we land there, we know all the sessions which are already created, they are displayed to us. How many beneficiaries have been located in that session is displayed to us. How many vials have been allocated is displayed to us. And subsequent to that, we can now, if we want to, based on the beneficiaries which we have already picked up, we can actually create a new session. Next slide. In new session, can we go next slide? New session, the session module. So in this, you will see that from what date to what date, what time to what time, which days, Monday, Tuesday, whether you want to pick up healthcare worker, whether you want to pick up central healthcare worker, whether you want to pick up frontline worker from MHA or Mahua or by the revenue department, or whether as and when in future common man would like to upload their data. Based on that, you can pick up number of beneficiaries, and then once you save, the particular session gets allocated as a draft session. Once you agree to that draft session, it becomes scheduled, and it also asks you a question whether you want to give a SMS to all the beneficiaries who have been scheduled for that particular session. Once you agree to that, all the beneficiaries will get details that okay, they have been allocated to the session which is at this site. Similarly, vaccinator will get SMS. Similarly, your medical officer in charge will get a SMS indicating these many sessions have been created at the district level. Next slide. So I will basically stop the presentation and I'll ask my team to show a live demo of the same process what I have indicated. We took you through a detailed longish PPT, primarily that in case if some reason the demo does not work, we can explain to you at least to the snapshots. So Abhimanyu.
Thank you, sir. As we have discussed the session planning module, and as you are aware that the session, am I audible to all?
Abhimanyu, can you please wait for a second? Abhimanyu?
Yeah. Yes, Pankaj?
Yeah, we would request all the participants, please log in only from a single login ID from each district. We can see multiple logins from districts, and because of that, many other districts are not able to join. So we would request, please log in from a single ID, from a single login ID from the districts. Thank you. Yeah, Abhimanyu, please continue.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pankaj. So as rightly said, we will have the session planning at the district level. But let us understand what is happening at the background. So right now, what you are looking at your screen is a national level login. And so here, we can see number of vaccines like COVAX or COVAX. And then the national level user can select a particular state and then add a particular vaccine in that state. So herein, as rightly said by Jason initially, that we have option to add one or multiple batches in the same state. So like in Andhra Pradesh, we can add COVAX as well as AstraZeneca based on the beneficiary load and other criteria. Now, once this has been done, the state level users will be able to identify and see this vaccine in their particular kitty. So now we have logged in as, let us log in as a state level user and see how they will be able to do the same thing at the district level. So let me log in as a state level administrator. And you can see right now I've logged in as a state level administrator. And I also have option to do manage vaccine allocation. We'll go to add. We can select fresh page. The same process which we have done earlier. Suppose we have selected Ambala. and we select a particular vaccine which we want to
So,
allocate.
dear colleagues, what we see here, we get the drop down of all the vaccines which have been allotted by the administrator can allot single or multiple vaccine to a particular district.
Thank you, sir. So likewise, we can do that. So now we have allocated 2 different vaccines to different districts. Now comes the most critical point, the district level login, wherein we will going to have the session planning itself. And let's go step by step and slowly and gradually we will see that how this session planning.
Okay, so let me highlight here the most important task in the whole IT platform is primarily done by the district immunization officer. And that is why we have requested them to join today. So we would like you, whatever I've shown as a screenshot, like to run you through as a process or steps to be followed. Having said that, kindly do not get overwhelmed today because we are trying to show everything in a jiffy. Otherwise, it is a very, very simple logical process. And to highlight that in case you have any doubt, if you see at every screen, there is the I against particular number. So can you just click on I manage users? So you will get already online help in form of a pop-up which will indicate what are the steps to be done or what is that particular tab doing. Continue.
Thank you, sir. Now, we have already gone through a TOT wherein we know how to create a district administrator, how to create facility level users. However, just to show you a glimpse that we have added some of the feedback which we got from the dry run, and we have added etiquette labels and the tip tools. For example, we have put the abbreviations and put the full forms in place. So while creating facilities, you can refer all those things like for creating public facility or for creating for private for facility, what kind of SOP is there. It is the same as we discussed earlier. However, we have incorporated some of the features which we got from the.
Okay, I would like to add here one small point. If you do not enter lat long and put it 0, the software allows it to be saved. But we would request that as far as the session sites are concerned, kindly add lat and long by getting it through your cell phone, etc. Because that once you add lat and long, the SMS which will go to the beneficiary will also send that lat long for them to navigate and come directly there.
Thank you, sir. Now come to the critical point, and which is new inclusion into the CoWIN application, which is manage vaccination site with the postal code and locality. So you are familiar with the manage vaccination site option. However, when we click here on the add site option and we select a particular and we aim to do a particular inclusion of a session site, so what will happen is that along with the basic details like the category of the site, the type of the session site, the CoWIN application will also going to ask us for the details.
Okay, let me add here. So what you see when we are adding a new session site. So this session site already has got the pin code which is available from the cold chain point. Now, subsequent to that, we are mapping that this particular session site will serve this area, which I had submitted earlier. So we can through pin code select 1 or 2 pin code falling within that district for that particular session site. Next. So you can pick 2 or 1.
So here you can see we have selected multiple postal codes, which is independent of the postal code of cold chain point. So one of the major concerns of the field was that the cold chain point postal code may not match with the postal code of the beneficiary. For example, if you create a private session facility or we do a self-registration. So here we will get option to select multiple postal code. Not just that, we have gone 2 levels down, post office and the village or locality which exists within that. So
okay, now let me add here 2 points here. So colleagues, here you will have to bear with us. This is the data, the overall data we had got from the postal department. Now in this, there might be 1 or 2 places where your locality might not be perfectly matched from the beneficiary perspective. So kindly in that case, you will have to take the closest locality. Idea here is to see that people don't have to travel to sessions which are far off from the place of their staying. Second problem you might face here is that in 1 or 2 locations, the locality may be repeated. So we had gone through the data provided by postal department. In few locations only, though not a major number, we found that, for example, let us say Sarojini Nagar. Now they have splitted Sarojini Nagar into Sarojini Nagar 1 and 2. So in drop down, you may find Sarojini Nagar as well as Sarojini Nagar 1 and 2 also. So in that case, because in any case, Sarojini Nagar is a much, much lower level, so it will still be similar. So you can select any of them, but you have to do that field level judgment when you are doing this tagging, please.
Thank you, sir. Now we can create this session site. The next question which may come up for a district immunization officer is that, okay, I have added postal code to a session site and the locality, but what happens if I get a new postal code or a new locality to be mapped with that? So for that, there is an action button wherein you can click edit. You can go back to that particular site, and suppose now we realize that 12004 and another locality Siswala has to be added, we can do that. So no need to create a new facility or no need to create a new session site. In case you forget or you you are not able to see a particular location or a particular postal code in the existing vaccination sites. And this can be done independent of the cold chain point posting. So this can be done across all the postal code of the district. Now coming to the next section, which is manage receipts. Now, as rightly said initially, this is a screen wherein we can see the allocation from the state, and then we can actually see all the batches available right now. And if we have to add a new batch, we can click on add vaccine receipt, and from here we can multiple vaccines and batch numbers are already allocated, and the doses remaining is basically the current balance available, and this is in correlation with the vaccine allocated and the session took place and the coverage took place in the session. We'll explain you how it works. When you click on add vaccine receipt, you will see the vaccines available, and then you can add a particular batch number. Now, if you're not able to see the vaccine list over here, the first thing you need to do is you need to check with your state administrator that I am not able to see vaccine. And this is applicable for the state also. If state is not able to see vaccine, they have to contact and tell them that our state has not been allotted for a particular vaccine. Please allot a vaccine so that we can start session. So from here, we can do vaccine receipt. The next important step here is manage vaccine allocation. So district has batches and vaccines and the dose in their kitty. Now what they need to do is they have to strategically allocate these to the cold chain points. So what you can see on the screen now is that there is an existing screen which is saying the batches available at the various cold chain points. Like we can see list of the cold chain point and the doses remaining. And when we click on this add vaccine distribution, we have to select a particular batch. And then we have to select a cold chain point on which we have to allocate that particular batch. So we have to select that batch. We have to enter the doses which we have to allocate. You can see remaining vaccine available also and in the batch, and you can also see the healthcare workers approved for this particular cold chain point. So this is basically a beneficiary load which exists, which can be correlated and can be and vaccine allocation can be done accordingly.
So this basically whatever beneficiaries falling within that particular session site area which you have mapped earlier, that number will be picked up and shown to us here. This will be an indication to us. This is a new thing. This will be an indication to us, okay, this much vaccine needs to be allotted to this particular site. Now you will also find a small change, a very, very minor change in next 1-2 days, which is that instead of doses, we will change it to vials. Because we have been told that it is primarily number of vials which matter. Opened vial are not to be used. So that is why this doses, what you see in the end, will change to vials.
Thank you, sir. Now, the next prerequisite for us is to ensure that we have list of beneficiaries available. We can see that list of beneficiaries which are there. We can also see their general details. If you want to see more details, there is an add column option. So we can select like age or postal code or locality. So for example, now I can see the postal code, and postal code of this beneficiary is 12005. These beneficiaries. Now, if I approve the list of these beneficiaries, for that, what we need to do is, this can be done on the basis of postal code or other parameters. For example, healthcare worker, frontline worker, or self-registration general population. When we select, we have to approve the beneficiaries for session allocation. Now, as mentioned in the PowerPoint presentation also, if we are not going to approve these beneficiaries for the session allocation, we will not be able to create session because they will not going to find sufficient beneficiaries in these sessions. Right. The next step is session site allocation, which is again a very critical step. Here, what you will see is a list of sessions which are already planned and which are already in place. And you can see what is their status, like whether this is a draft or whether it is scheduled or whether it is completed. Draft means that we have created it, but we haven't scheduled it, and the beneficiaries and the vaccinators are not yet informed. Scheduled is that is finalized. Ongoing is it is started but not yet completed. And completed is when the session is formally ended. Here you can see the beneficiary count also, and you can see allotted vials. So like, for example, you can see 15 beneficiaries for that. 2 vials being allocated for 15 doses as a round off, because this particular vaccine is 20 doses per vial. So based on that, system will do the allocation. Now, if we come for the create session, so what we have done is we have clicked on create session. The prerequisite, we have to select the cold chain point, we have to select the vaccine, and we have to select the batch. Now, this is very important, what you are looking at on your screen currently. Here, you are looking at the name of the session sites in this cold chain point. For example, you can see that Vikas Public School, CHC, Vikaspuri Anganwadi Center, Mangolpuri Anganwadi Center. You will see locality. So if you are planning to do the session allocation based on locality, you will have to refer the list of localities/villages. Also, you can find the list of postal codes allowed to a particular session site. So as you remember, when I approved the list of beneficiary, the postal code was 125005. So we can refer this list and we realize that, okay, this particular postal code 125005 belongs to the CHC, the facility itself, and we plan to do the session over there only. So based on that, we select, and if we have multiple postal code, we can select 2 or 3 or more session sites.
So what I would like to highlight, see, software allows us to also do multiple sessions to be created in single go. All the cold chain points within particular, all the session sites within a cold chain point can be selected. All the session sites in the district in a single go can be made. So this allows us to actually do what we were otherwise manually doing. And now, since we are going to get huge amount of data to be done electronically.
Thank you, sir. Now, when we know that which session site we want, which postal code we want, which locality we want, we can go to the create vaccination session screen. And here we have option, as you have seen in the PowerPoint presentation also, that here we can select the range, like from which date to which date we can select.
Here you can do session allocation for the whole district in single go. All session sites in cold chain point in a single go. Similarly, you can actually create sessions for multiple days also in a single go. So if you want to do from 1st of January to say 30th of January in a single stroke, you can actually create sessions here.
Thank you, sir. So you can see we have selected the time as well as the from time and to time. And then we have selected the date range. And when you place the mouse over here, it will also tell you that you have to select the date from which you want to start the session. Session 2 date is from where you want to schedule the session till the time. Time of initiation of session, time of closure of session. all those things, if you want some more help, you can place the mouse and you get the print. The next, for example, if you want 100 beneficiaries per session, or if you want...
Now, 2 points to add here. The operational guideline says up to 100 beneficiaries, one team will go. If it is 100 to 200, additional vaccinator gets added. But when it comes to workflow, we would request you to create 2 session sites instead of 1 session site. And after that, you can create 100 in one and 100 in another. But so workflow wise, there will be 2 sessions, not 1 session. Though guidelines, operational guidelines say that other members remain same and it is 2 vaccinators which get added. So this will be sending in writing in terms of sort of overall common criteria at the field level. Then again, let me add, while my colleague is doing this task, you can identify within the particular selected date, which particular days you want to do session for. So with this, you can exclude your regular immunization days, and subsequent to that, you can exclude or include holidays, etc. Now, if you see down below, this is another interesting point we would like to highlight. As I told you that we will be getting data from 21 ministries for the healthcare workers. So you can basically see central healthcare worker and you can pick and choose which ministry healthcare worker you want to pick. Similarly, when it comes to frontline worker, you can pick up whether you want to pick up MHA healthcare worker, or whether you want to pick up urban, or whether you want to pick up revenue, etc. Then as and when general citizen will be allowed, you can even pick up general citizen. In case of general citizen, because we are also asking them to feed in the status of their comorbidity, that also will be visible to you. If you want to say that I want to pick up people with hypertension and diabetes specifically, you can pick that up. Similarly, if you remove this general citizen so that this comorbidity screen goes away, can you remove general citizen from top? So now you can take all these beneficiaries which you have picked up. You can pick them based on age stratification also. So I want to pick up people above 50 years of age. I want to pick up from 60 to 70 years of age. And you can also pick up whether I want to cover people who only want second dose, people who only want first dose, and who want both the doses. So based on that, generically, you can pick up the set of beneficiaries which you have mapped to a particular session site based on pin code and locality, and your session site will be created. Now this session site which has been created, it actually goes in the form of a, what do you call, a draft session site.
Right. So when the session site is created, what will happen is that we will going to see a draft session site, and we will see the beneficiary load and all the other parameters which are essential. We can see how many beneficiaries are there, and then we can schedule that session.
We can edit it.
We can edit it.
Now editing, okay, let me just explain editing. Editing allows you to change the vaccinator in case someone is changed.
That will happen when we actually schedule the session. So like if my session is scheduled,
Schedule a session.
yes. So now we have scheduled a session. It will ask whether we want to send SMS to beneficiaries, yes or no. We can say no if we have created session say 2 weeks before, and if you want to do it later, then we always have an option to go back to the action items and send SMS. At the same time, we can edit the session, and as rightly said, we can change the vaccinator. So for example, Anita Singh is on leave, so we can assign to this session to any other vaccinator in that cold chain point which exists. Also, we have an option to print. So before the session, if you want to take a printout of the list of the beneficiaries and the details of the session.
Okay, this will be useful. This will be useful primarily where some places, much as we tried, and internet connectivity is a constraint. So this printout can be displayed both in the Gram Panchayat. This printout can be used by the vaccinator to use it at the field and do the uploading later on.
So by this, we can create a session, and then once the session is created, the vaccinator and the beneficiaries will get the SMS notification, and then they can start conducting the sessions.
Okay, now before we go to the vaccinator module, I would like to show you a small dashboard which is there. Can you go to the dashboard, please? In this, it's a dashboard is there, na?
Yes, national level, national level.
Okay. So in that dashboard, you'll get a lot of analytical report based on your filter, which you need to know as a user that you know what is happening. So whether, for example, what is the user profile within your district, which you are showing right now in the demo national, then what are the facilities which have been there, what is the survey overall status, what is the status about vaccinators, then how many beneficiaries from different departments have come to you, how many registrations are getting done on an average in a day, how is it compared to the national level. Similarly, how many sessions have been conducted versus cancelled, how many planned, what is the status overall with respect to how many beneficiaries covered, which age group has been covered. Then you can also see session status. Can you go to the session? So how many sessions which have happened, sessions held versus cancelled, department-wise beneficiary covered in each session, state-wise how many sessions have been done, or for you, I mean, it will be district-wise for that matter if it is at state level. Similarly, we can even see a dashboard for how many dropouts are there, people who have come to the center but did not choose to take the vaccination. And we can also see a dashboard for adverse event. Can you click on the adverse event? So you will see a dashboard of how many gender distribution AFI, which particular vaccine, what the distribution has happened, which particular vaccine had more AFI, which are minor, major or severe. So all those details will accrue to us. So dear colleague, this is about session allocation. All the health files are available in the reference on how to use the software. In all the columns in relevant locations, we have provided with a button I where details about that particular thing is also made available. Now we would just like to run you through a small presentation on vaccinator login, and we would like to give a small demo of that. So vaccinator login is actually a very simple tool. Whatever sessions have been done, so vaccinator will log in based on the user ID provided to him. Next slide. Then after that, he will see what are the sessions which are put up for today. What are the sessions which are there, coming up in the next few days. There will be a small dashboard indicating what is the overall eyesight, overall bigger picture. Then after that, he can conduct session. So for conducting session, once he picks up a particular session as on that particular day, can you go to the next, please? He will start session. The button, the moment he click start session button, he will get all the details of beneficiaries allotted to that particular session. Next slide. Next slide. And after that, the beneficiary details will be available to him. There are buttons which are available against it. He will basically verify that this is the same beneficiary who is there. Once he click on that, then after that, he can basically go next. However, can you go back, please? If you see, there is something which we have shown in the red color over there. So this is where right now it indicates that the microphone option is off. Once you put it on, the same thing you can actually, by speaking itself, you can fill up all these buttons by saying, this will be indicated that if you say, okay, beneficiary detail verified, all these buttons will be auto-populated through the voice command itself, like what happens with Alexa and other things. And without touching the button, you can do the data entry also. Next slide. After that, you will validate that particular beneficiary. It will again ask you question. Though we do not intend to use it because we don't want to delay the process at field level, but it wants, if you want, you can do Aadhaar authentication there. Next slide. Subsequent to that, if you want to basically report an AFI for 30 minutes within the session, and based on that, you can actually add AFI against that person. However, a point to add here, we had initially put AFI could only be done after the session is closed, but based on feedback, this is being revised. You can do AFI reporting within the session itself. So you will fill up the details of AFI reported within 30 minutes. Next slide. And then after that, you can change your own details, etc., by going to the profile screen and add your cell number, etc., or whatever new number and old number. Those details can be done. Now I would request my team to show a live demo of the same thing, please.
Thank you, sir.
So this is the screen where we can enter the mobile number and the password of the user. Let me just enter the. So the mobile number has to be 10 digits, otherwise it will show an error. The respective password has to be entered. And this text shown in this image has to be entered so as to verify the
Capitally,
user is.
capitally.
So this is just like the normal login process on any other website that we do. We enter our mobile number, our password, and the captcha. I'll enter the password again. So the first screen shown to the vaccinator, as I mentioned, is the dashboard. This shows how many vaccinations have been done in the last week. And how many first doses were given, how many second doses were given, and how many sessions were conducted. Below on the same page, you can see there are 2 sessions which are listed. There is one session which is ongoing. The vaccinator is already doing that, and there's another session which is yet to start. And in both the sessions, there are 10 beneficiaries. The time is also mentioned according to the plan. So as we already allocated the session. So when we go to click on any one of the sessions, it will take to another screen which is session information. There basic information about the sessions will be mentioned, and there will be a button of start the session. So whenever the vaccinator is ready to start the session, they can click on this button and it will start the session. But since there is one session already ongoing, the vaccinator will not be able to start another session. So we'll just go into the ongoing session. So this is the screen which will be visible after starting the session. There will be a button for ending the session, and there will be a list of beneficiaries in that particular session. Vaccinator, if there are a lot of beneficiaries, vaccinator can also search by the name of beneficiary here. So if I start typing, it will automatically filter out all the beneficiaries with that name. So to vaccinate this beneficiary, I need to click on the name of the beneficiary. So let's say I will click on Rohan, but before that, it will also show for each beneficiary how many vaccine doses have been given. So the colored dot, the orange colored dot says that it has been this beneficiary has been given the first dose and it is partially vaccinated. The status of this beneficiary is partially vaccinated. There are few beneficiaries which are not started vaccination and noted as not vaccinated. So in this both the dots will be black. So I will just choose one of the beneficiaries, Rohan. So after clicking on Rohan, I will see the screen. Here, the vaccinator will need to verify all the information that has been entered and shown on the screen. So the name should be Rohan, the date of birth should be this mentioned, gender, driving license, mobile number belongs to, etc.
So these are simple check buttons. Once you start clicking on this check button, it's just to say that I have verified the beneficiary. Can you go fast? Because we have to show self-registration also.
Sure, sir. So,
go fast. We don't want to show the...
Oh. So this is the check boxes. You can enter it manually, or as I mentioned that you can also speak to the platform. What voice text you need to say will already be displayed on the screen. So
now, just a second. Now let us see that if because there is ambient noise, but let us see if we can use that functionality. Otherwise, can you go to the now speaking?
Sure, sir.
No, on the top. You can say vaccine benefit.
So here it may not.
Just pick any benefit.
search Kapil. So I'll say search Kapil.
Okay, leave it. I think let's go to
So I
other
think
things.
because of the microphones, it will not work.
So let's basically, so once we do that and after that we click, then the web person gets vaccinated, and to that extent, in the end, what is crucially important is don't keep the session ongoing. You have to click on the button called close session or end session so that the beneficiary end session button will ensure that the session stands closed as on that day. Now, colleagues, I would like to run you through the third thing, which is not immediate, but in next 10 days or 15 days or 1 month, it may be again going to happen. So this is about the self-registration of beneficiaries. Okay, yeah, kindly show the AFI thing in this. Can you go back to the beneficiary? In this vaccinator module, sorry, I forgot to mention about AFI reporting. So if within the session site, there is an AFI reported within 30 minutes, then you can pick that beneficiary and all the data which is already available remain populated. Remaining details in terms of what has happened, comorbidity and other details as per the AFI format can be added here and the data can be saved. And we can register. Okay.
So this is the list of adverse events. We can choose as many as possible, as many as applicable here, and you can also write any other which is not available in the list.
Okay, so can we go now next to, let's go to the beneficiary registration. Can we go to the PPT, please? Sorry, friends, we are taking through a long drawn this thing, but we think that it is particularly important that all of us remain on common page. Bear with us, but it is only to facilitate collectively all of us. Now this is, you can go back, go further, PPT. Okay, now we are talking about self-registration for beneficiary. This is not made live, this will be made live at the right location. Here you see from a screenshot, you can get the data identity document fetched from DigiLocker. You can also basically through the one particular column called application, select the identity document, and after identification of that identity document, if it is Aadhaar, you can do Aadhaar authentication and also create section 4, under section 4, a unique health ID for that individual. Next slide. Then you can enter basically details about comorbidity, etc. What happened? Okay, go further and then register the person. Now what happens is once a person gets registered, a tracking ID gets created and you also get a SMS about that tracking ID. In future, you want to know what is the status, whether you have been allotted to a session or not. Beside the SMS which we are sending, you can write your tracking ID here and you can get the overall status. Similarly, the QR code based certificate which gets generated with this tracking ID, you can log on and pick that QR code based certificate also. We would like to run you through a 5 minutes demo for the same. So I would request my colleague to take over from here.
Thank you, sir. Here is the click here for citizen registration button. This is not available right now, but it will be available as when time is right. So as sir mentioned, there are two types of registration. You can register from application as well as DigiLocker. From application, there is a list of multiple ID proofs which a user can choose. So I'll choose Aadhaar card here, and a consent has to be given for Aadhaar card. I'll write the Aadhaar card number.
See, all the identity documents we have written there in drop down. If either they will be fetched or otherwise what will happen is, now OTP is created for Aadhaar. Okay. Or you have to take a photograph, the beneficiary has to take a photograph and upload it also. So the moment I have gone for Aadhaar authentication through OTP, there will be an OTP number which will be coming to the beneficiary concerned here. That is the self-registration module. And once he agrees with that particular OTP number, you see that all his details have been fetched here. And parallelly, you also see a column called health ID. The unique health ID for the person has been created, which is meant for that person, which can be populated as per Aadhaar Act itself across different health ITs solutions, so that the problem, or it is like Aadhaar of health. With this, you can actually start using it in any population, and the longitudinal electronic health record of the person can be created. Subsequent to that, whatever data is available in the Aadhaar will be fetched. Remaining data you have to upload. You have to add your permanent address as a user, as a beneficiary. You have to say whether the current address and permanent address are same. You have to add details of your comorbidity, etc. And multiple comorbidities can be selected and you can register yourself. The moment you register, you will get a tracking ID. So I'm not going to that because so as to save time. Then second thing is you can also go for DigiLocker. Now in DigiLocker, the moment if you already have a DigiLocker account, they will take you to that DigiLocker account where you can enter as per the DigiLocker user ID and password. The DigiLocker is now creating an OTP. You enter the detail of your PIN of the DigiLocker. Then the DigiLocker, once you give permission to this application for the DigiLocker, you will see all the records available in your DigiLocker. If you do the drop down. So the person has a driving license or PAN card, so you can select any one of them. The DigiLocker ID, that record is fetched and kept into your account now here. So based on that, you can actually do the population of data from DigiLocker. The person is verified. Now the point is what happens. One is there's a tracking ID. The person can actually go with the tracking ID. Do you have a tracking ID?
Yes.
Can you show how does the tracking ID work? And I would like to show you to show a sample QR code based certificate also. So a person who has already got his citizen ID, he can write his tracking ID here. So you see that your registration has been successfully submitted and your vaccination, whatever the status, will come to you. And if you have already been vaccinated completely, you will even get your QR code based certificate from which you can download and take it further. Let us see, you have another one where QR code has been created in sample. Another thing, if you see here on the top, you see 14.13, 14.12. So this is basically to say that you cannot actually work on one particular session site for more than 15 minutes. So this will, once your site session is completed, on what date you have been vaccinated, what is your QR code based certificate will be generated, which can be appended here and you can download as a beneficiary or a user from there itself. So dear colleague, this is overall workflow. Lot of challenges are still there. In terms of, we are dealing with large databases. There will be issues related with duplicate data entry. Sometimes, to give you an example, whatever you have uploaded in the records, in some places we found that you have also uploaded 6-7 times by clicking multiple times at times, same record. So we are doing that data deduplication internally. But I'm sure with your support and with the overall guidance from every colleague from state, we'll be able to manage the overall processes. I'll stop here. We will basically look forward for comments. And I know that there are around 1,000+ people who are joining this workshop. So instead of taking comments from the district, my request is we would prefer to take comments from the states, and that too also from limited states. And we would request that, if you are having doubts, we would look forward to your doubts, otherwise through SMS or otherwise from state, and states can rather compile these doubts and send it to us, so that we are able to take care of that. So I'll stop here, and can we go to the screen? Stop sharing, please. If states would rise to raise flag, and then we can either invite states, etc., please, or any state specifically if they would like to raise any issue.
Sir, Maharashtra has mentioned that state authority said not to use Aadhaar as ID proof. Please guide.
Okay, so there is nothing called, as whatever we are providing here, the interesting thing is as per the Aadhaar Act. So if you do not want to use, we have no problem, but then you lose the opportunity of doing 100% authentication if the person is willing to give. Second is you also lose the opportunity of creating unique health ID for that particular individual. We would urge that it will only help you. The whole concept of National Digital Health Mission is primarily based on ensuring that the data becomes interoperable. Unique health ID through Aadhaar will support you in doing that exercise. Can we see any other doubt? We can even respond if any state would.
So you're not audible.